Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. My name is Kelly Manzone, and last week, unfortunately, I was unable to teach because I was sick. Now I'm back, and I'm super excited because this month we are using stick mobility to prime for Mace training. And I've been teaching my own Mace workshops around the country for the past 5 years, and whenever possible, I incorporate stick mobility into the workshops to help people prime for the Mace training itself and also to learn the techniques without having any load. So I just want to make sure that I'm connected to the internet right now and that everybody's coming into class. Okay, great. Now I have here, just for a little bit of comparison, a typical steel mace that you'll find on the market right now, and also a handmade traditional Gada, which is bamboo and concrete at the end of the lever. And this lever length is a little bit longer. The steel mace is a little bit shorter. Now, if you don't own a mace, that is okay. You could actually supplement today with your short stick mobility stick. And you could use that throughout the entire class whenever we're addressing using a mace. And that way it'll be, if this is something that you've been interested in and you haven't quite had any information about it, you could try it safely unloaded with the stick mobility stick. So what we're going to do today is first get started with our typical warm-up, mobilizing our shoulders, our T-spine, opening up those lateral lines. Then I'm going to teach you how to create a seamless pendulum in the backswing, and also address the traditional mace swing of the 10 and 2 and the 360. Today we're going to focus solely on the 360 because there is less complexity. There is one pull, and the pull is to the center of the body. And I'll go into more detail shortly. So to get started, I'm just going to put my maces right now to the side, and we're going to start our warm-up with our short stick. Now, you may also need a towel or pillow to kneel on. We are going to be doing a half kneeling monkey hang as part of our warm-up. Priming for our circular training and our mace training, we're going to mobilize our shoulders, getting into some kayaking. So you're going to claim your stick mobility horse stance. You're a little bit wider than hip width. I want you to kind of soften into your knees. Take a moment, take the tailbone under. You're going to park the stick on your right hip. Now the camera flips me, so even though this is my left side, I'm going to call it my right side so that you could follow along. And I'm going to do the same thing, mirroring you as I go through the mace training techniques. Starting with our kayaking, you're gently going to kayak forward, putting a little bit of tension into the bottom of the stick. Now I practice a lot of diaphragmatic breathing. That's when you close your mouth and you rest the tongue on the roof of your mouth and you breathe through your nose. When we get into our mace training portion, I'll also talk about breath work that goes along with the swing. So it's your choice if you want to practice diaphragmatic breathing throughout class. And I do recommend that you are barefoot so you can feel the connection to your feet. So even though people think of mace work as kind of a upper body focused exercise, it is actually full body, right? Full body integration from the ground, from the feet up. Take a moment, park it back onto your right hip, and we're simply going to reverse our kayak. So it's almost like backstroking, up, back, and down. Still putting just a little bit of pressure into the bottom of the stick, really working into the shoulder girdle. We're going to keep our hips forward. Instead of moving our torso from side to side, I want you to keep your torso fairly still. Let's do 4 more before we add on. Up and back, 1, 2, 3. Now on 4, it's going to return to our right hip. We're going to push the right palm up into the stick and take that left arm back on a diagonal on the exhale, and then inhale, park the stick back on the hip. Up and back, good, and then back to the hip. Let's do 3 more here. Excellent. Again, maybe 20-30% tension into the stick. 1 more. Take a moment, switch over to the left hip, and then that left hand is pushing up into the bottom of the stick as the right arm goes back. So a little bit of shoulder in through the bicep, down the forearm, a little bit of front line into your pecs. Let's do 2 more here. Up and back. Good. 1 more. Take a moment to release. Lower your arms, shake it out. We're going to go into shoulder dislocates. So I also use these exact exercises to help somebody as an assessment to see if they have the proper mobility to swing a mace safely. So if anybody goes through this class and you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm on Instagram at kelsbells88. So we're going into our shoulder dislocates. You're in your horse stance once again. Pull apart on the stick. You're going to light up your posterior line, keeping the rib cage closed, chin neutral. All fingers stay connected to the stick. You only go back to where you can comfortably. And then as you lower over the forehead, you push into the stick. So we pull apart, all fingers connected, come forward, push into the stick. So you'll notice over a period of time as the reps continue, you may find you could go a little bit further as you continue to warm up. And again, I say in every class, I don't want you to work into pain. So be very mindful, and if there's an area that needs extra attention, you could focus on that for a moment and then rejoin us. Let's do 1 more. Pull apart, come forward, push into the stick. So with your mace bell, if you're swinging the 360 or the 10 and 2, the mace is moving behind you in the pendulum of the backswing. So it's similar, I guess you could say, to a kettlebell swing, just a different angle, different tool. And with that, you have to create bull horns where the hands drop to the base of the neck and then the elbows point upward towards the ceiling. So there's a lot of work and demand into the tendons, ligaments, muscles of the tricep down into the shoulder girdle. So we're just going to prime our triceps before we add load. So you're going to take your stick into your left hand with the thumb facing down. Take the stick to the base of your neck. Then your right hand is going to come across, grab the bottom of the stick. So I'm kind of in a loose horse stance here. And as you can see, that left elbow is pointing upward towards the ceiling. So we want to be mindful. A typical compensation pattern here is to flare the ribs forward or jet the chin forward or drop the chin to the chest. So you should be able to go into this single bull horn with the stick mobility stick comfortably. No tension in the neck, and I'm gently pulling down with that right hand. Getting a little bit of lateral work, I'm going to press my knuckles from right to left, angle, look upward towards the ceiling, breathe and hold for a moment, and then slowly come out of it. 1 more time. So I'm pulling down with that right hand, left elbow upward towards the ceiling, rib cage closed, comfortable neck, no tension. Then take the knuckles across, push that left elbow back gently. Please never work into pain. Hold, and then slowly come out of it. Release, take a moment, roll out that shoulder. Going to work a little bit of external rotation of the shoulder before we go into the tricep stretch on the right side. So we're going to do 2 of these. First one, I'm going to take the stick into my right hand. My left hand, with the palm facing up, is going to grab the stick like so. Then my bottom right hand is holding onto the stick here. Loose horse stance here, or you could go into your full horse stance, and I'm simply pulling upward with that right hand. Elbow points forward, that left shoulder is down, and I'm just getting a little bit of work into that joint. Little isometric hold here, not pulling too much, focusing on breathing, and then slowly come out of it. 1 more here. Go back up. Maybe you go a little bit further. But again, please don't force it. Hold. I've got my timer going, so we're going to hold for 3 more seconds. Take a moment, release, shake it out. Now we're going to change the angle. So I'm now taking the stick behind my left shoulder here, and instead of the right hand pulling up across the body, I'm going to go forward, drawing it up. So right here, sorry, there it is. Now I have that alignment. So here it is from that side view, elbow pointing upward towards the ceiling. I've got maybe about 20-30% tension here. I'm not tugging on that joint, and then slowly come out of it. Shake it out if needed. Reclaim the position and draw back. Hold. This feels so good. This is one of my favorites. Hold here, 3 count, and gently release. Perfect. Take a moment, roll out that left shoulder. Now we're going over to our right side. Taking hold of the stick, palm facing forward, thumb down, and the hand again goes to the base of the neck. Your left hand is going to come across, and you're going to pull down. Now, right here, you're in that neutral position with your spine, right elbow pointing upward towards the ceiling. Notice the difference between your right and left side, and then you're going to slide the knuckles over towards your right angle, look upward towards the ceiling. That right elbow, instead of falling forward towards your face, keep it pointing upward towards the ceiling and gently press it back. And then take a moment, come neutral, shake it out. Let's do one more. Watching your alignment, and then take the knuckles across gently so you get a little bit into the lateral line. We're going to be doing a bow and arrow in a moment though to go deeper. And then slowly come out of it. Take it across, roll out. Now, working into the shoulder like we did before, it's going across that bicep, right palm facing upward. Coming across, I can feel the difference. This side is a little bit more restricted. I also do these movements for all of my kettlebell training. As you can see, I have a wide variety of clubs behind me in Mace's, and like I said before, stick mobility has been a blessing for not only personally in my practice, but with my clients too. Hold here, and then take a moment, gently release. You could shake it out, and then we're going to switch that angle. So the elbow now is out to our side as we're taking the stick behind, and then you're going to draw upward with that left arm. So here's what the side view is going to look like. So I have a bit of excessive mobility, or I have a lot of end range that I could work into personally. But again, I want you just to be very mindful and not work into too much discomfort. So there's a difference between kind of stretching and pain, and I don't want you to work into pain. So we'll hold for 3 seconds here. Good. And release. Excellent. Short stick, we're going to lower that down to the ground, and now we're going to go over to our single long stick. And working into the T-spine. So we have to kind of free up our shoulder girdle, open up the pecs, open up our front line, mobilize our T-spine, and open up those lateral lines for optimal swinging. In your horse stance, let's take your right hand on top, left hand on the bottom, and you're going to bend that left elbow. Take your right arm across. Then simply hip hinge forward. So you're creating a triangle. Your head, your forehead, tip of the triangle. And now we're working behind this right shoulder blade. And then from here, I want you to take this arm, instead of kind of it being out here or bent, try to maintain that length. And then dip your right shoulder down towards your right big toe. And we're going to be using our eyes when we're doing our mace work, and I want you just to articulate your neck. So eyes leading the head, you're going to look down to the floor and then upward towards the ceiling. Let's do that 2 more times. Down to the floor, upward towards the ceiling. Good. Come up out of it gently. Switch your hands. Left hand is on top. Bottom of the stick angle in towards you. Pull across. Hip hinge forward. So you're staying centered with your hip line. Take a moment to breathe. Then you're going to dip that left shoulder downward towards the left big toe. And from here, those neck articulations. So this is where I would personally kind of, in my own practice, focus on diaphragmatic breathing and eyes leading the head. So we're getting into our vestibular system. And remember, we're going to be using our head movement to eye our mace head as we're learning the pendulum and the 360 swing. Let's do 2 more. Good. 1 more. Slowly come up and out of it. Last one before we get into our mace work. Bow and arrow. So taking the stick to the outside midline of our left foot, right hand, thumb facing down, left hand right at that hip line where the sticker is. Press out with your hips to the right first, then send the arms out to your left. Top arm, that right arm, I'm going to leverage. Pushing into the feet, tailbone under, and now working a little bit deeper into the hip line, into the front line angle. Look upward towards the ceiling. Take a breath or 2. Slowly come out of it. 1 more on this side. Hips out first, upper body second, driving down, tension into the stick, angle, look upward towards the ceiling. We're going to really free up those lateral lines and then come out of it. Stick over to our right hip line, left palm, hips lead first, press out with those arms. Again, instead of your tailbone being back, take it under you, angle, look upward towards the ceiling, hold. Again, neck is relaxed, that's important. Come out of it. Last one. Hips first, arms second. Push out into the floor. Hold here in your bow and arrow. Really stretch. And now slowly come out of it. So a little bit of mace safety first. So have your short stick nearby. I just want to show you how to properly pick up the mace from the floor. And now we're going to prime our triceps. So I have a 15-pound mace here. You're going to create a triangle, much like you would with the setup of a kettlebell swing. If you want to follow along, the mace end of the lever is in your right hand, and you're going to hip hinge forward. Take your left hand to the mace head, come up, and then you're going to slide the hands down, and here is your proper rack position. So you're pushing into the feet, gripping the ground with the floor, engaging those legs, squeezing the glutes, firing the trunk of the body. When your forearms are lengthened, this creates stability. If the elbows are bent halfway here, it's going to create instability. It also puts a little bit more excessive strain on the forearms, elbow joint, and biceps. So you want to be in control of the mace, not the other way around. The mace should not be in control of you. So I'm going to have you put your mace on your left shoulder, turn your body to the right. As you come through center, slide the mace down. Now, you're going to keep your left hand on the mace, right hand releases, and you can see my hand is at the base of my neck. Take your right hand to your rib cage so you can keep your ribs closed. This should be fairly comfortable. Elbow upward towards the ceiling. Now I'm going to turn around for just a moment. So now we want to really prepare our ligaments, muscles, joints. And I'm going to do a little corkscrew with my knuckles. So I'm corkscrewing, rolling the knuckles in, and then roll the knuckles out. A few more times. Roll the knuckles in, and gently release. So this position should be comfortable. It's also a good indicator if somebody has the mobility and shoulder health to swing. Now take a moment. You're going to place the other hand onto the bottom of the mace, turn the body back over to the left, and slide the mace onto the shoulder. Switch. Now the mace is on your right shoulder. You're going to come through center. And if you don't have a mace, you could use your single stick mobility stick, the short stick. Knuckles, roll in, and roll out. So this is what it's going to look like from that side view. You're staying in that horse stance, elbow pointing upward towards the ceiling. Roll the knuckles in, out. We got one more. Good. Then my left hand is going to return above the right hand, turn the body, slide the mace, and then you grab again your mace head and take it gently to the ground. So quick review on your rack position with your mace, especially if you're learning the 360 like we are today, or if you're going to learn the drill I'm going to teach you in a moment, at pendulum 1, 2, 3 pull. So again, create your triangle. Hip hinge forward, hold at the base of the mace head, come up into your starting position so your stance is a little bit wider than hip width, length through the forearms. So this is also your pull, your exhale in your swing when those arms lengthen. So again, that creates stability. Bent elbows create instability and can cause excess strain on the joints. Okay, now I'm going to put this steel mace down and we're going to switch over to our short stick. If you don't own a stick mobility stick and you're watching this at home or on YouTube, you could use a broom. Now, pendulum. I'm going to demonstrate this from the front view and the side view. One of the biggest issues with mace swinging is the initial cast, which we're going to get to in a moment. But we also have to create a seamless pendulum in the backswing. So no matter if I'm swinging the 15-pound mace here, 20, 25 pounds, the grip is still the same, so this like kind of relaxed grip, and the technique of the casting of the mace head to create that pendulum is the same. So what I mean by that, we have a window that we create between our our forearm and our bicep. And this is where we're going to learn how to create a seamless pendulum, to use our eyes so we could eye the mace head. I'm going to take my stick mobility stick here, and this is an excellent way to learn this drill. And I'm going to park it on my right shoulder, and I'm starting my pendulum here in the backswing. From here, I'm going to create a transverse turn through my shoulders. So as you can see, my right elbow is on the sagittal plane. My left elbow is on the sagittal. My right elbow is on the frontal plane. And then the mace drops into that backswing. And now I have that transverse turn. I'm eyeing the mace head to the right, to the left. Here it is, unloaded. So here is how you create a pendulum. I'm going to do this from the side view. So, taking my unweighted stick mobility stick, I'm going to elevate here. Now I'm eyeing the camera. The mace is going to stay close to the body. As you can see, my hands drop to the base of my neck. Here's that transverse turn. I'm eyeing the mace head towards the wall, towards the camera. Wall, camera. Each time, hands drop to the base of the neck, and I'm using my eyes. Now I'm going to show you this pendulum drill with the steel mace. Actually, you know what? I'll use the Gada. To create the pendulum, you're going to start just a little bit of a lateral shift with the body. And I want you to think of a grandfather clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. 3 and 9 o'clock. So I'm taking my mace into the right, left hand comes down, taking it onto my right shoulder, coming through center. So you can see hands are at the base of my neck comfortably. Taking my stance, a little bit wider than hip width, chin neutral. Starting a little bit of a shift of the body. Now that pendulum is going to start to come up a little bit higher. And now I'm using that window between the bicep and the forearm. And that's your pendulum. From the side view, I'm parking it on my shoulder, coming through center. Here we are. Hands at the base of the neck, elbows pointing upward towards the ceiling. Starting low, getting a little bit of momentum. Now, the mace becomes a seamless extension of the body. You add a little bit of a tricep extension as you pass through center. Like so. So I hope you found that useful. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. So that was just focusing on the backswing. That's an important, essential key. So no matter what the weight, your grip is relaxed. You use your skin grip, feeling connected to the tools. Then you focus on using the window that you create. And the mace, you want to learn when to create tension and when to release tension. With that pendulum drill, even though you're gripping, you want to relax your grip and feel the pendulum. I always like to put on a song like, I don't know, something from Pink Floyd, anything, right? That just kind of like puts you into a little bit of a trance and you can feel connected to that pendulum. Now, cast of the mace head. So even though we're starting with the 360, which I'm going to demonstrate first, so the 360 has less complexity. There's one pull and the pull is centered. Here's the start-stop technique where I pause between each rep. Now, you also notice there that I have that transverse turn through the shoulders and a little bit of counterbalance away from the mace head. A safe way to learn the 360 and where to properly cast the mace head, again, is using your short stick mobility stick. So I'm going to take my left hand on top, right hand on the bottom. Going really slow, right? I'm creating an arc. A common mistake with mace swinging, and this is actually how I got started teaching my own workshops. People were sending me videos of their technique. They were really, I'm struggling, I'm hitting myself with the mace or my elbows hurt. The cast of the mace head is not back over the shoulder. The cast of the mace head is up and out onto the frontal plane so that the mace could create that seamless pendulum. And then when the mace head is either at like 10 or 2 o'clock, that's your on switch to create tension and then pull into that front rack. So the off switch, where you're not creating tension and you're allowing the mace to move around the body, is on that initial cast. There's the pendulum, it floats, mace head here, pull, create tension, pause if you're doing the start-stop technique. So, one more time, I'm going to do from the front and side view before I pick up the mace. I have my left hand on top, right hand on the bottom. So you can see here, my fingers, instead of being a super closed grip, because my forearms are lengthened, there's a little bit of length to my fingers. I'm going to push up, cast up and out. So here's that first transverse turn through the shoulder. The mace is going to drop into the backswing. So this is your backswing. There's the bullhorns. Then you have that transverse turn on the opposite side. There's that counterbalance away from the mace head and then pull back into front rep. Here is from the side view. So I'm going to push up, cast that mace head towards the camera. Hands drop to the base of the neck. Transverse turn on the other side. And then pull, lengthening the forearms. So a little side note, when you're practicing for your mace, and especially if this is brand new to you, I want you to kind of intuitively train versus focusing on time and rep. Focus on your alignment, film yourself, have it, or stand in front of a mirror, but filming yourself from that front view and the side view and watching it back is really going to help you dissect your movement pattern and where you might need to clean up your technique. So now I'm going to do this with the steel mace. You could use your short stick. It's going to be easiest to swing over the shoulder of the bottom hand. And in next week's class, I'll go into a little bit more detail about Mace kind of 360 protocols. But I just want to kind of give you a starting point for today. So take your left hand, mace head, right hand is on the bottom. Now, it's going to be easier to, when you're first learning, to swing over the right shoulder versus over the left shoulder. But that being said, you're going to practice and you're going to learn both. You're going to learn how to cast over the right shoulder and how to cast back over the left shoulder, the same hand that is on top. Okay, so casting of the mace head. I have my left hand on top, I'm casting over my right shoulder. I'm going to push up, cast up and out on the frontal plane, use my eyes, pull. There is creating stability. Cast, swing, pull. Cast, swing, pull. Okay, so this is where filming yourself is very handy. I'm going to cast now to the camera. So I'm going to push up, cast, pull, front wrap. Push up, cast, pull. So as you can see from that side view, my hands are dropping to the base of the neck, using my eyes, and then I return to that start position. So now we're going to do the same thing, going over the other shoulder. So now our right hand is going to be on top, left hand is going to be on the bottom. Before next week's class, practice, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Right hand is at the base of the mace head. And now we're going to cast over the left shoulder. Push up and out, cast. Rack position, excuse me. Push up and out, pull. Pull. Side view. Good. One more. Now, if mace training, again, requires adequate mobility, so if you have something inhibiting your movement or you're experiencing pain, there are other exercises that you could perform with a mace that is not swinging. But the traditional Gada was inspiration for the steel mace, and I just want to make sure that I'm giving a bit of a base so that you could gravitate towards what suits you personally. And I believe Ray in last week's class, he gave some other options that don't involve swinging. Now our next drill here is tying in the pendulum with the 360. So we had our pendulum, which I'm going to do a quick review, with the stick I'll use. And then we have the 1, 2, 3 pull technique. I use this technique with clients, and it was taught to me by my mentor, Paul Taras-Volkovinsky, as a way to learn both the proper way to cast a mace head, the sensation of the backswing, when to pull, and again, that proper rack. So, going over to the short stick, we could use a broom, whatever you have access to. The 1, 2, 3 pull technique, I'm going to start in the back position. And I'm going to go left, right, oops, pull. There goes the ceiling. Okay, so right, left, pull. 1, 2, 3, pull. 1, 2, 3, pull. Here is what it looks like from the side view. 1, 2, 3, pull. 1, 2, 3, pull. So this, again, lays down the train tracks for swinging. So the 10 and 2, which we'll get into another time, is the actual original mace swing. And that was used by wrestlers. It meant for pulling somebody over the body. So the 10 and 2, the pull is kind of like a triangle inside of a circle, as my friend Paul Gray pointed out. And there's a little bit more complexity because the pull is on a diagonal and you're really tying in the X of the body. We're just going to review what we covered before we unwind with some stretching. I'm going to use the steel mace. You could use your short stick. So, quick review of what we covered today. Set up your triangle, hip hinge, rack position. Not bent elbow, length. Take the mace onto the shoulder, come through center, hands at the base of the neck, creating the pendulum. Start a little lateral shift, a little bit into the sagittal plane there too. Then you start to add a little bit of height. Tricep extension, you're keeping the arms close to the body. I'll explain more in a moment. And then 1, 2, 3, pull. 1, 2, 3, pull. 1, 2, 3, pull. Then start stop technique of the 360. First, top hand going over the bottom hand shoulder. Next week, we will progress that. Start stop, meaning we're going to pause between each rep. I have my left hand on top over the right shoulder. Pause. Cast. Pause. One more. Good. Safely. Mace to the ground. Switch. You can use your stick. Remember the short stick. Cast over the right shoulder. Pull. Good. One more. Rest. Gently take it to the ground. So, I so enjoyed going through this. It's made me so happy. I hope the techniques that I shared today, breaking everything down, made sense. And again, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. Okay, so we are now going to take it to the ground, kneeling monkey hang, and we're going to stretch out our triceps too. I'm just going to use my long stick since I already switched. Let's go into a static hold. Left hand, right hand on the bottom. And you may feel in the beginning that your triceps the next day are a little tender, and this is where stick mobility comes into play. Hold. Let's hold for like, I don't know, a few more seconds here. Gently pulling down with that right hand. Excellent. Release. Switch over to the other side. Elbow pointing upward towards the ceiling. Chin neutral. Remember, you're not dropping the chin to the chest. Hold here. And if anybody needs any resources of where to acquire a mace, again, please feel free to reach out. And gently release. Monkey hang. If you need your towel or pillow, please grab it now. You're going to take your right leg over the left, lower the left knee to the floor, top of the foot down. So the stick is right in line with your hip. Right hand comes across, and then gently pull with that bottom arm. Breathe. Stay with it. Love this stretch. Feels so good. Now, as we release, slide the left hand down, reach the right arm forward, and then look back at that left arm. Hold for a breath or two. Hand comes up. Take it across. Reach. And now as we come through center, again, push down into the stick, slide the hand down, angle, look over to your left. Well done. Okay, up and over to our other side. Left crosses over right, right knee down to the ground. Left hand comes across, and as I pull, I'm looking over that left shoulder, letting that right hip fall out. Hold here. As you come through center, again, lower that right hand, leverage down, reach. Look back. This feels so good through that front line. Return, hand up high. Inhale, exhale. Go for that second rep here. You could always anchor with the ball of the back foot or top of the foot down. Your choice. And reach. Hold here. Okay, we're going to work our way down to our back. Going into open book. Love this one. Such a good stretch. So I'm taking my bottom right leg long. Left leg is folding over the top knee in line with the hip. Stick, I'm leveraging it into the top of a flexed right foot, and then I am holding up high with the right hand. Left hand on top, and as I'm flexing and pushing down into the stick, inhale, exhale, eyes leave the head, open. Oh my goodness, I just got such a nice release. That felt so good. Hold here, kind of melt into the stretch, and then slowly come out of it. Let's do one more here. Nice and slow, take your time, reach that left arm back, and breathe. So this stick here is helping, like if you're kind of pulling, pressing down there, it helps to keep that hip still. And then slowly come out of the stretch. Let's go over to the other side. I'm kind of pressed for time here. Normally I do like the big arm sweep. You could always watch this back or add an arm sweep. So now the stick is on the top of the left. Right arm, foot flexed. Take a moment, get into the position. Inhale, exhale, reach. There was another release. That's the best. Hold for a breath or two. And then slowly come out of it. One more here. Reach. Hold for about 4 counts. So you should feel nice and loose through the back. And now gently close. Take a moment, lower the stick, pop up onto one side, and we made it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, I'm Kelly Manzone at KelsBells88 on Instagram. I really had a lot of fun introducing you to some of the foundational movements of steel mace and Gada. Please feel free to reach out with any feedback or questions you may have. I'll be back next Tuesday where we're going to progress on the techniques that we did today. And also be sure to check out Stick Mobility's YouTube channel There is a vast library of the previous classes along with descriptive tutorials and episodes of the Movement Made Better podcast. Thanks again. Have a great day.